Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me now? Okay. One second. Um, all right. All right. First, I was afraid. I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. These demons tried to stop me from giving you your message. I don't give a fuck. You know that I don't give a fuck what they do. Yeah, no, obviously, this is going to be a very important message because first and foremost, Formosa. Mm, first and foremost, the title, right? You are beyond protected, first and foremost. And then secondly, the amount of attempt to silence me, bitches. Just stop. You can't silence me. You should know that by now. You know how many motherfucking demons tried already? I'm all squeaky voice. Do you know how many already tried? Shit, that just make me more focused. Yeah, I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Let me get these cards ready. I better quit messing around because I really don't have time like that today. Have you guys noticed that the parasitic activity has climbed to like the craziest degree of what the fuckery? Have you guys noticed that? Because I've noticed it. I've noticed it. I've absolutely noticed it. And it's definitely something that we need to make sure that we're not allowing ourselves to unintentionally participate in it. Okay. It's super important, super duper important. And it's been going on all weekend, to be honest. Just these attempts to try and bait you into interactions. Y'all, I gotta show you this. I gotta show you this. Oh, oh, oh. This lady, she's still trying to come on my channel, trying to get herself noticed. This lady was talking mad shit to me in the comments of one of my old videos. And she's talking about how something, I don't know, something along, she was trying to imply that I'm busted in the face or something. I'm just like, girl. First, you're not qualified to start with, you look so good, you're so like, stop. You look like you can smell caca all the time. That's first and foremost. She looks so miserable. Secondly, no. At first I entertained it. I was like, why is lady in your name when you don't know how to conduct yourself as such? And then she's trying to say that I'm something like some crazy ass tequila or something. And I'm like, okay, hold up. Because first and foremost, when I first saw tequila in the early 2000s, before she went fucking cray, girlfriend was hot. Don't even. So like, really? Like, what degree of hotness? I'm saying, what degree of hotness? Let a girl know. Yeah, I don't know. People are just trying so hard, so hard to get you caught up in all kind of like nonsensical shit. Just absolutely nonsensical stuff. If I were you, I would try my best to remain free and clear of all of that. The only times I've engaged is like for the sake of making myself laugh at their expense. You want to volunteer to be the butt of my joke? That's fine. You just start shit with me. If I feel like joking around, you're going to be the butt of my joke. If I don't feel like joking around, I'm going to ignore you. And I think that's kind of what we need to do. If it's not something you can laugh about, leave it alone. Like, totally leave it alone. Okay? Let me just get these cords out of my way. All right. So we're going to start with this. Woo! Liars. Liars. I call bullshit. That's a lie. Yeah, I know that. All right. Here goes. So first and foremost, they're trying to lie to you. They're trying to convince you. I don't know who they are. They're trying to convince you that you're left unprotected. You're left in a space of like extreme vulnerability. Things that you don't approve of will be allowed to happen to you. No, all of that is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Secondly, this is what they're trying to bring home to you. This opposing force. Okay? The most powerful thing you can do during this period is consistently remind yourself that you are in fact protected, because you are. Because you are. Just because you're protected does not mean you will not experience any of the difficult, challenging things that are intended to grow you. You're still going to experience that. It's the unnecessary hardship, the unnecessary struggles, unnecessary pain, unnecessary complications that you don't have to allow yourself to experience. You just don't. You don't have to participate in any of that. You should start doing that. Someone's irritating you, and they'll be like, what are you doing? Spraying my bitch be gone spray. My husband told me there was a saying, this was back in the 90s. Here's my pinky, here's my thumb, bitch be gone. I think that was, here's my pinky, here's my thumb, bitch be gone. That was a saying. So you're like, just like that. That sound, that sound has a potential to single-handedly deflate someone's overly inflated sense of self. They're trying to project this onto you. No, absolutely not. No. You can ignore, but some things need to be addressed. Case in point, I was at the gym for the first time in how long? And I had my kids with me. And so I was teaching two of my kids how to properly lift. And part of what I was teaching them, like right from the start, I want them to learn about proprioception, the placement of your body, the way your body moves, your core strength, all of that, right? And so I was having them do shoulder press, just go like this, up and down with dumbbells. And I left the bench completely flat. And I just had my hand on their back between their shoulder blades. And it was to encourage them to engage their back, keep their back straight while they do the movement properly, making sure the shoulders don't go up. And this guy comes up and he goes, "Oh, you know what you could do?" What? And he's like, "Oh, you could put the bench up so they have a solid, stable surf." Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm teaching them about core strength, engaging that core, and proprioception. He goes, oh, okay. Yeah, no, like, you need to go mind your own business. You need to go mind your own business, right? Because I know this person loves to go up to other people and give them lifting advice when he doesn't have proper form. He just doesn't. So it's this thing of, no, don't engage me or my children. We're not here to entertain you or your ego. And after that, he left us completely alone. Thank you. Thank you for not making it awkward for everyone. Because I will absolutely, absolutely push that boundary back when it comes to people trying to interact with my children. No, you will not be accessing or interacting with my children unless they initiate something with you because they're drawn to you and want to speak to you. You leave them alone. And that's the kind of mindset you need to have right now. You are your own child, your inner child. You are parenting yourself right now. Whatever's happened in your childhood, that's done. You are now at a point where your parents cannot undo whatever they failed to do for you. They're humans. They're regular people. Whatever you needed in childhood, you are now at a point where you can begin providing these things for yourself. That includes protecting you, shielding you, not allowing gross feeling people to have access to you. And if you feel like you don't have a right to do that because it's rude, I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise. But just know that's the very mindset that emboldens the very people who disrespect your boundaries consistently. You don't have to be rude about it. I wasn't rude to the guy. I let him know just flat out. Oh, no, I'm teaching them proprioception. I'm teaching them about proper core strength. They need to learn that right from the start. And I smiled. I smiled. All right. So this next set, this next set of 3 cards. It's no secret that this upside down masculine is just pining away for you. They're obsessed with you. They can't stop thinking about you. Yada yada. We all know that story. I mean, if you want to entertain it, you can. Would I entertain it? No, I'm married. That's that. That's that. There's no negotiating any. That's a boundary line. If you are not a male friend of mine, we already have an existing friendship. I'm not entertaining anything. How? I don't even entertain my male friends. I don't. And my male friends don't try and force upon me the need to be entertained by me. Like, we wouldn't be friends if that was the case. Right? So, whoever this is for you, whatever upside down masculine this is for you, they're pining away for you is it's starting to initiate something. The general sense that I get is for some, it's initiating a need to heal, that you guys need to interact momentarily, at least, in order for the both of you to get some closure and heal beyond whatever that event was that got them all upside down and you upside down as well. Um, but then for others of you, it's almost like the type of circumstance that's being invoked is one where you need to really assert that boundary like, no, absolutely not. You are disgusting. Leave me alone. Right. And, over the years, I've found that being excessively nice and kind and patient, um, understanding and rationalizing, like, okay, this, whoever this is lonely or they have trauma or they don't have anyone, and you not enforcing the boundary because of those um, excuses that you're making for them, because that's the reality of what you're doing. It emboldens predatory people, and predatory people often do not present themselves as predatory in the beginning. Oftentimes, the predatory people in your life will present themselves in a very soft, very loving, very kind, very generous manner. Think back on it. The people who have screwed you over the hardest, how did it begin? Were they kind? Well, you thought they were kind, right? They were just being nice. Did they seem very supportive? Were they like super loving towards you? Let me give you some clarity on that. They weren't loving on you. They were love bombing you. For a lot of empaths, we feel very unseen, right? People tend to not ask us how we're doing. They tend to come around when they need something. I'm not saying everyone, but for many empaths, this is the perception that's prominent. Most people will only come around when they need something. And of course, you'll help because that's how you are. But no one really ever asks about you, tries to help you, or anything like that. Now, the moment you come across someone who's willing to help you, who offers to help you without you asking, they're paying attention. Oh my God, that must mean they really care. Or it could mean you just got triangulated by a fucking narcissist. Yeah. I've had that happen to me multiple times. Multiple times. Years ago, I didn't let anyone know that I was stuck in a parking lot with my family. I knew I wasn't going to be stuck there forever. I knew I had to learn something. And once I learn it, I'll be on my way. And there was a person, it was a male, who never really approached me in some type of romantical sense. It was always this sense of like platonic friendship. And one day they reached out and they were like, "Hey, I heard about your circumstance. I don't know from who. I heard about your circumstance and I just sent you $200 or $100. I don't remember anymore. I just sent you money on PayPal." And I was like, "Oh my God, you didn't have to." And they're like, "Your family, we care about you." I was like, "Oh my God, no one's ever done this for me before." I felt so like, "Oh my God, I'm so grateful for you in my life." And then you know what happened after that? They tried to use the fucking shit out of me. Yeah. In their head, they bought me for $100 or $200, whatever it was. I think it was $100. I think he gave me $100. That was the price he paid to own me. That's in his head. Because the way everything else played out after that, um, he basically tried to use me as his attack dog, right? He would start shit with people and then he would bring me into it. Like after a while, like, it's just constant drama. What the hell's going on here? He would use me to continue his manipulation of other people. And then at the end, um, he like flat out told me that, and he didn't even realize what he was saying. I don't know exactly. I think he knew, but he didn't realize that I was paying attention. He was trying to say that I was his greatest success story because he made me. No, the fuck you didn't. I already had an audience before I met you. What the fuck are you talking about? You made me? You mean me being myself? You want credit for me being myself and people being drawn to me. What? All that because he gave me $100, which I'll tell you before the rest of the ugly stuff started to happen. Not only did I pay him back the $100, which he didn't ask me to pay back, I gave him double to show my appreciation. Y'all got to be careful about the way you frame people's good deeds. There are some people who will do good things for you because they love you genuinely. Be careful about confusing the genuinely good people with the manipulative, love bombing narcissists. You got to be very careful about that. And when he could no longer access me and use me to further his reach, he forbade his entire following because he wanted followers. He forbade his entire following from having anything to do with me. If any of them were caught watching my live stream, sharing any of my content, interacting with me in any way, they were literally shunned by the entire community. He would intentionally go live the same time I'm going live, offering things so that anyone who was going to go to my live stream would go to him instead. Which that's fine. I really don't care. I go live with no expectations of what, right? So that's the thing. That's the thing. That all started because he purchased me for $100 in his head. As an empath, I receive that as an act of kindness because I'm a genuine person. I do things in a genuine manner. I'm authentic. If I'm going to help you, it's to help you. I don't expect anything in return, not even a thank you. Just like, here, you need help? I can help. Here you go. All right, we're done here. You don't got to tell anybody. No biggie. No biggie. Not everyone has your heart. Not everyone operates in this world the way you do. There are those of us who do. We're not super common. We're not extremely rare, but we're not super common either. So use discernment. You are protected, but if you choose to allow this type of caca into your life, well, then it's in your life. Your soul will honor your decision to experience something that's completely unnecessary. You'll be given signs. Yeah, it's the same guy that tried to sell swords like me. He tried to force me to give him the name of my crystal supplier and all kind of shit. I gave him a completely different name. I was like, and then he tried to encourage his viewers to copy my swords and that I wouldn't do anything. And I was just like, well, I hope your leader will pay for your legal fees because here's the patent number, multiple patent numbers. Because I had told them the swords are patented. I have a patent design, multiple patent designs, and I will be seeking the full extent of federal law to protect my assets. And he tried to tell them I was lying. They'll go out of their way to try and dig at you. They will go out of their way to try and dig at you because they know the way you function. The best course of action, assert that boundary and keep it moving. Don't stay in the same place so they can gather up more steam and try at you again. Like, no. It's harder to hit a moving target than it is to hit a stationary one. Just keep it moving. Don't run out of fear. Just keep it moving the way you normally would. When you start making moves as though someone can really do what they're saying they can do, you start to bring that into fruition for you. There are certain things where it's like, no, you're not going to get into this pissing contest. Like, go ahead, do it. I want to see you try. And there's other things where it's like, you know what? I really don't give a fuck what you say. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. If I see you, I see you. We'll deal with you then. Right? Just keep it moving. You're protected, but you have to make sure these attempts to access you are contained. You have to make sure that whatever negativity is trying to be brought to you, and first and foremost, by way of parasitic dysregulatory syndrome, parasitic dysregulation syndrome, they're going to try and destabilize your emotions first and foremost. So there's going to probably be multiple attempts if you're one of the people who are going to be attempted in this window. It's about a 3 to 4 week window. Some energetic stuff has shifted and happened, opening a window of extreme parasitic attempts and activity. You just have to make sure you remember how protected you are and how to move through this challenging period. Sometimes the challenge really is nothing more than your soul adding more weights onto the bar so that you can lift heavier to increase your strength. Sometimes that's all. It's not necessarily to destroy you. So don't be so quick to be like, oh my God, I'm being punished again. No, just chill. Chill, make the moves you need to make. Things will intensify. It will. That's okay. You can handle it. It will only intensify to the degree that you can handle, not what you think you can handle, but what you actually can. Okay? Call upon the guardians of our psychic. See what I'm saying? Call upon the guardians. So, if you don't know me very well, I don't really like to call on other things to protect me or whatever. I kind of like to take care of everything myself, right? I'm very independent. If you are at a point where you're feeling very depleted, just a quick combo with Soul. Soul, please send me some type of support. Send me some type of support and help me to know when it's the support you sent, not a mimic, not something fake, not something trying to entrap me. Sometimes that support will be the falling through of your plans because it's keeping you from being accessed. Sometimes the support that's sent is in the form of complete strangers. Sometimes the support that's sent is in the form of people you know and love and haven't spoken to in quite some time, but they know something's wrong. They can feel it. And so they're reaching out. Right? Be courageous. Anything life gives can be an inspiration. See what I'm saying? Soul is already letting you know. Don't worry. Just keep moving through this process. Everything's going to be fine. The life force within us is the same power that created the universe, but it's in reverse. So I'm wondering if this is something that's presenting itself to you as though it is divinity, but in reality, it's nothing but a mimic. It's a demonic mimic. If it's a demonic mimic, just be like, who the fuck is you? I'm serious. That's what I say. If something demonic is trying to do thought inception, is trying to use the sound of my voice to encourage specific thoughts, obsessive, cyclical type of fixations, things like that, emotions. As soon as it starts, I will ask, who the fuck are you? It immediately stops. I know you ain't me. So who are you? Become a warrior to dispel the darkness. Ooh, but it's in reverse. This is the trick. Become a warrior to dispel the darkness. This is telling me It wants you to fight. It wants you to be engaged in such an intense manner so as to drain you, so as to observe what type of capabilities you have. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. For people who think like, oh, malignant people who think like, oh, I've watched how many of her live streams. I know what she can and can't do. Really? The public has witnessed about, I don't know, like 6% of my capacity. There's many, many things I've never spoken about or ever shown. Will I speak about it? For what? I believe in privacy. There's no need to mention things that are not part of necessary conversations. It becomes unnecessary if it's not a necessary part, right? Quiet compassion is sometimes the best course. Compassion for self. Quiet compassion for yourself, where you allow yourself to just recognize, like, okay, I probably could have done that different. I probably could have chosen a better option for myself. It was a good learning opportunity. Now I understand the gravity of some of the decisions that I make. And from this point forward, I'm going to start choosing other things. I'm tired of repeating the same cycles. When you have quiet compassion for yourself, you're no longer allowing yourself to initiate and sustain an internalized war. You're not expected to be perfect. Perfection, as we know it to be, is something that is not sustainable and it's very unrealistic. As a matter of fact, my personal belief, you as you are was created perfectly. You were created perfectly. You're functioning exactly the way you need to function, and you need to just chill out. You just need to chill out. Yeah, that's that. You're fine. Just chill out. And you'll see things improving. You'll see how you've been very unfair in your expectations of yourself, and it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Lovemaking can bring wisdom and compassion or mire us in lust. Oh. Mhm. Mhm. Better be careful about what it is you're trying to marry yourself to. I think for some of us, we're trying to commit ourselves to something that is just not in alignment with what you need, with what you deserve, with where you're headed. Could be a friendship, it could be a relationship, like a romantic relationship. It could be a work partnership. It could be a project. You're like trying to marry yourself to this project, knowing damn well you're not supposed to be doing any of this, right? Do what is needed. And if you don't know what you need, take a moment. Breathe. Take a moment. As you breathe, make sure your breath is used to intentionally bring you back to life, to intentionally replenish you. Okay. New birth guarded vigilantly, but it's in reverse. Many of us really have no idea what's happening right now because we've just gone through or are going through an ascension cycle. And when you level up, as soon as you enter into that new level, that new space of being, it's a very disorienting thing. You suddenly feel like you don't know who you are. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what direction. Nothing's quite making sense. Like, what is going on? You just leveled up. You need to take some time to acclimate. It's in that space of leveling up and newly inserting yourself in a brand new mental, emotional, and energetic environment that you are most susceptible to parasitic things convincing you that you're playing a sacred fool, that something else rightfully has strings attached to you and can control you. I don't fucking think so. Oh, that offended me. That offended me. I very much am offended by that. Hmm. I'm very much offended by that. You should ask yourself, why am I not offended if you're not offended? One of the hallmarks of being a sovereign is being autonomous. Your autonomy is one of the defining factors of your sovereignty. Your ability, your willingness to make decisions that are rooted in your awareness of your needs. That's part of your sovereignty. Don't let other people use those strings they've tied on you to yank at your heart. Oh, that's why I got so offended. There's a potentiality that whatever this is that's trying to infiltrate your life, whatever you're being protected from by your soul, it's trying to use heartstrings. It's trying to use heartstrings. It's trying to get you to feel guilty. It's trying, it's trying, it's trying. Who cares? Ignore it. Away, away. Against the grain. See how these seagulls, whenever this card comes up, I always think of that scene in Finding Nemo where there's a whole bunch of seagulls. And what are they yelling? Mine. Mine, 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 mine. Yeah, nothing owns you. Nothing owns you. You owe no one. Okay? You owe no one. In the world, not of the world. This is you. You are in this world, but you're not necessarily of this world. You are such a magical being. You are otherworldly. Let all these fish swim right past you. Really just allow yourself to lean back, let your hair loose, those pearls of wisdom threaded into your power. I was doing my certification class on Sunday, yesterday, and I was teaching them some techniques, and it was amazing. I love to teach in that program. I do. They were all flexing some good juju. And I asked the question of, did you guys think this early in the program you'd be able to feel this type of energy, this degree of intensity? And I forgot to mention to them that was not my energy that was being used. They were feeling their own energy. We don't realize how powerful we are until we're faced with the type of circumstance that forces us to utilize the strength at the degree that's necessary to overcome the challenge that is presented by that circumstance. You know how I know that I'm a really strong person? Because I've been through so much. I've been through so much, and it doesn't make me sad. It's just like, yeah, I mean, shit happens. It's no biggie. I get through everything. What's the big deal? Nah, I don't gotta feel some type of way about it. Like, I get through everything. It's not a big deal. I can be soft, loving, kind, compassionate. I can be very giving of myself, even after everything I've been through. Even after everything I've been through. it didn't change me in the way that it was assumed it would change me. It simply shifted me in the way I see myself. I know without any doubts at this point, I'm beyond fucking protected. It doesn't make me feel cocky. It just makes me that much less willing to allow people to do the same fucked up shit that so many fucked up people before them tried to do to me just because I exist. That's some shit right there. Mm. Oh. This is odd. Michael's teary-eyed. He never cries. He says he's misty-eyed. His eyes are just misty. He's trying not to cry. And he said to me, all the things I had to stand back and just watch happening to you was so you could understand how loved you are by so many people around you. And it's true. It's true. I don't just feel loved by my community. It is, for me, it is an absolute, it is a given. It just is. It is a part of my reality. I don't accept it. I understand it. And I embrace it. And I don't think I would have been able to believe the type of love and support and encouragement that surrounds me, the ways in which I'm so heavily protected, if I didn't go through all the things that I've been through. He usually doesn't get sentimental. He just doesn't. But he's saying that one of the most difficult things he's experienced in our journey together is having to just stand back and watch without doing a single thing. Because as much as he's wanted to protect me, the thing he's wanted more than that is for me to learn and know without doubt how strong I am and how rooted in love my entire existence is. Sometimes things just have to happen. You might not agree, you might not like it, but when you allow yourself to be present in whatever it is you need to be present for, you begin to understand after a certain point why it was you needed to experience that in the first place. Every single hardship, every single attempt to create hardship. Ooh, it's true. It's been met by me with conviction and appropriate response. Whether I understood it then or not, that's what he's saying. It's fueled my conviction. I think we need to understand that there's a lot of attempts to really get you in a space where you're so discombobulated that you don't quite understand what it is your soul wants from you. You don't quite understand why. What did I do? Type of question, type of feeling. Well, the why and the what did you do are answered by the same thing. You asked to see how strong you are. You asked to understand why you exist. You requested confirmation of your divinity. And everything that happens to you happens in a controlled manner on a soul level, on a human level where we don't grasp the full totality of what it is we're experiencing, especially when we're in the midst of experiencing it. It seems like chaos. It seems unfair. It seems like punishment. It feels like too much. All of these things are valid perceptions coming from a limited perspective. When you allow yourself to zoom out and begin to see yourself and your life from the eyes of soul, you begin to understand that these events connect together and they teach you profound things about yourself. They teach you about your mechanics. And then you begin to see this was in a controlled space the entire time. It was in a very controlled space, and no harm would have ever been allowed to actually come to me. We're all so protected. But when we choose to refuse the protection we're freely being given, then soul will honor that. It will allow you to experience what you're choosing to experience. It's like a child who is barely starting to learn how to ride a bike and there's training wheels. And that child demands and demands and demands that the parent remove the training wheels. And the parent is like, all right, we'll take it off. And as you begin to wobble, if you freak out, you will absolutely fall. But if you just chill out for a moment, you'll rebalance yourself naturally. I remember one time, I was an adolescent. Maybe I was like 14. Maybe I was 15. I don't know. One of my brothers, their friend left their bike at our house and no one was home. And I was like, I'm going to ride this bike. I mean, I knew how to ride a bike, but it was a freewheel. So the bikes that I was used to, when you reverse pedal, it locks the back wheel. It's like a brake. It stops you from continuing forward. But in a freewheel, you can roll that back as much as you want. It's just going to keep rolling back and it's not going to engage the back wheel. It's not. And there were no handlebar brakes. I didn't know that. So I went down the driveway as fast as I could. And when I tried to reverse the pedal, it just continued. And I was like, oh my God, there's no brakes. So I zipped down the driveway and I immediately went up across the street. And I couldn't slow down. It was a hard turn. Well, I had a BMX bike before this when I was a kid, but it had brakes. It had brakes. And so I was riding and It's a sharp turn on my street. And I was about to lose control. It was wobbling, wobbling. Had I done anything except put my legs up and just hold the handlebar like this, I was literally riding the edge of the sidewalk. I was on the edge of the sidewalk. I had flip-flops on. I would have mangled my feet. I had no helmet on, nothing. I was in a tank top and coochie cutter shorts. I grew up in the 90s. Yeah, I was literally in a tank top and coochie cutter shorts. And I was like, "Oh my god. I'm gonna fucking die on this thing." No, I didn't die, nor did I fall. I went, I turned, and as soon as I turned, rather than continuing the horseshoe of the street, um, I went straight up the neighbor's driveway at the end of the U, because it's a U, it's a way. I went up the neighbor's driveway because it was really steep. That slowed me down a little bit, and as soon as I got near their garage, I went like this to the handlebar, which would have flung me that way, except their garage was down, and I stuck my foot out. I kicked off their garage. At which point, the whole thing, I was just, and then I let it drop. I didn't fall at all. No scratches, no nothing. Had I freaked out, I would have fell hard. An even better story, I was driving my mom to work, and we were on the freeway, and they wouldn't let me in. The car that was coming on the freeway wouldn't let me in, and she was gonna be late for work if I didn't get off this off-ramp. I was going like 70, 75 miles per hour on an off-ramp where you're supposed to go 25. I know I'm not bragging. This was a really fucked off circumstance. I was driving my parents' Suburban, and so I was like, "Oh, you don't wanna let me in?" And I cut them off, at which point they had to let me in. But it's like a sharp turn. You don't have much space before it turns off the freeway. And when I turned, I popped the Suburban on 2 wheels. I'm not even joking. It got popped on 2 wheels as we were turning, and me and my mom, we slowly looked at each other. We slowly looked at each other, and she goes, "Oh my god!" And I said, "Shh." She goes, "Press the brake, press the brake." We're gonna flip the car if I press the brake. We did a 2-wheel turn, 75 miles per hour on a 25 mile per hour ramp. And I didn't touch the brake at all. I kept my foot off the gas. And as we turned, the weight of the vehicle slowed us down enough. And then as I slowly turned back, we dropped back on all four. She goes, "Oh my God." And I was like, "We're fine. Did you want to be late for work?" I was like, "We're fine. Why are you tripping?" "I'm going to tell your dad. Oh my God, you're out of control. You're out of, this is how you drive when I'm not in the car." Yeah. But I gotta get you to work. What? Had I freaked out and moved it even just a little bit, oh, we would have rolled that Suburban, or I would have rolled that Suburban. Just don't freak out. Don't freak out. Same thing for black ice. You freak out, slam on your brakes, you go spin out. Don't freak out. I gotta go.